How big a problem is that?
The ethical questions begin now, not in 30 years.
I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads, by a lot.
This machine has the potential to escape the control of people. I mean, how could it not?
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
Artificial intelligence is among the forefront of our technological race for supremacy. Any nation that will achieve artificial superintelligence will transform themselves into new age superpowers, shaping the world in a way that's simply unimaginable, for the better or possibly for the worse. A few months ago, as many of you may know, a new artificial language model was released to the masses, the infamous ChatGPT, a chatbot created by OpenAI and funded by Microsoft through a new multi-billion-dollar investment, showcasing Microsoft's efforts to integrate OpenAI's ChatGPT into the Bing and Edge search engines. With that, ChatGPT has outperformed many tech behemoths we see today, showcasing its disruptive nature by causing major tech giants such as Google to scramble to release a similar performing AI model of their own, which by the looks of it hasn't seemed to be planned out that well.
We're missing the phone. Gonna move on, we can't find the phone.
With all sparking an outright arms race to see which conglomerate will clasp the greatest market share and thereby power, embedding their AI technologies into the fabric of society, where the most recent and comparatively primitive ChatGPT-3 is placed on par with university students and field professionals. And as we can clearly see, this concoction of advanced and yet seemingly simple to use features are part of the reason why OpenAI is bringing about an immensely rapid adoption rate, with millions and without a doubt billions of individuals beginning to utilize these tools more and more as mere weeks progress into the not so distant AI future. But before we go on to explore this future, there are 3 critical categories of AI it is essential for us to know. The first and the most simple out of the 3 is artificial narrow intelligence, which is AI that only specializes in one specific area, like being the best at chess for example. But if you make it attempt to solve something unrelated, such as asking it to come up with a specific food recipe, it will fail miserably, which leads us onto the second caliber, artificial general intelligence, which is another term for human level AI. And as the name suggests, it's an AI that's as smart as humans across the board, ranging from the way we express emotions to the way we form our thoughts, it being significantly harder to create compared to artificial narrow intelligence, as we're still several years away from achieving this type of technology. This brings us forward to the most advanced AI concept so far, Caliber 3, the so-called artificial superintelligence, still a rather unimaginable power only prevalent in sci-fi movies that will eventually exceed all bounds of reality. Imagine how someone living 200 years ago would imagine today, and yet back then the rate of human expansion had only started. From the boom in the Industrial Revolution, as Ray Kurzweil describes human history through the law of accelerating returns, when more advanced societies have the ability to progress at a faster rate than less advanced societies, creating an almost exponential expansion. For example, 19th century humanity knew more and had better technology than 15th century humanity. So it's no surprise that humanity made far more advances in comparison. And the same thing is happening today. We're on the brink of a new revolution, and we're beginning to experience a fraction of its effects already. However, the Industrial Revolution, just like the AI revolution, faced heaps of ridicule, especially amongst the skilled middle-class weavers and textile artisans, whose work became virtually obsolete due to the introduction of weaving machinery, which mimics the ethics surrounding the use of AI today, as thousands of people are on the verge of unemployment, threatening entire industries and livelihoods. But as of now, the human brain is the most complex object known in the universe, and AI in its current stage is simply not strong enough to level the functionality of our brains. Yet on the other hand, it excels in concepts such as calculus, financial market strategy, and language translation, as they are mind-numbingly easy for a computer to achieve. However, seemingly easy things for us humans, such as motion and perception, are insanely difficult for a computer to replicate. As computer scientist Donald Knuth puts it, AI has by now succeeded in doing essentially everything that required thinking, but has failed to do most of what people and animals do without thinking. And I undoubtedly believe this will be one of, and if not the largest hurdle the development of AI will face, whilst also casting a philosophical debate whether AI could ever possibly reach the stage of individual consciousness. So feel free to share your opinions on this matter in the comment section down below, as I'll be reading through all of your guys' comments.
Should we automate away all the jobs, including the fulfilling ones? Should we allow AI machines to flood the internet with propaganda and fake news? Should we develop non-human minds smarter than our own? Machines that might one day outnumber us.
The AI that you are most likely to encounter in your life is built by a handful of for-profit companies using data you never realized they were collecting. And increasingly, it makes decisions about things that are really important to you, whether you know it or not.
If we produce things that are more intelligent than us, how do we know we can keep control?
This, although, doesn't mean whatever AI has accomplished is right in our eyes. For example, Microsoft released an AI chatbot named Tay, designed to interact and respond to people on social media platforms such as Twitter. However, within the first 24 hours of release, Tay was exposed to harmful ideologies and started repeating them in its responses, shortly being shut down whilst also demonstrating the inherent dangers of unleashing artificial intelligence without the proper safeguards. Another factor that raises concerns is the implementation of AI in facial recognition systems, already being infamously showcased in China's AI tocracy programs, implementing AI-powered surveillance systems for commercial and political interests, showcasing a rising concern in digital repression. But let's slow down for a minute. What is an AI-tocracy? In simple terms, an AI-tocracy is a form of government or society in which AI systems play a central role in decision-making and governance. In an AI-tocracy, decisions would be made based on data, algorithms, and predictions generated by AI systems, rather than by human politicians or elected officials. The concept of an AI-tocracy is still largely theoretical and raises many questions about the ethics, accountability, and potential consequences of such a system. But proponents argue that AI systems could make more objective data-driven decisions, which is another form of saying that these types of AI systems can perpetuate and amplify existing biases in society if they are trained on biased data, and all whilst being controlled by a tyrannical government has led to repression in individual opinions, all while stimulating political control for those in power. Neuralink, the promised wonder technology that is set to inadvertently change our lives, infamously through their current attempts in seamlessly integrating humans with specialized microchips, thereby bridging the gap between technology and our innate biology, providing us with never-before control of Mother Nature, resultingly raising the ceiling for humanity's potential, as one of the primary objectives of Neuralink is their ambition in the inevitable treatment of both mental and physical disabilities. As in essence, the microchip would work by detecting electrical signals as they pass along our nerve cells, learning and associating them to different body movements, eventually being able to emulate them to essentially bypass paralysis or disease, permitting individuals to regain control of their bodies. But all of this is easier said than done, and we have many more years and possibly decades to wait until technologies such as Neuralink reach the stage of widespread consumption. As a matter of fact, Neuralink were only recently approved by the FDA to carry out clinical trials for their product. And as we all know, this is definitely something that is not going to take a short while to complete, especially in the medical field. And speaking of medical field, research conducted by DeepMind has also stretched the boundaries of what is capable with AI, as one of their more prominent creations, labeled AlphaFold, has accomplished the previously impossible challenge of being able to accurately predict the 3D folding patterns of protein structures, or in more simpler words, has been able to predict the functions of individual proteins, thus expanding our understanding of how organisms function, and ultimately how life itself works. All being accomplished by a heavily sophisticated learning algorithm from which the program harvested data from the sequences and structures of around 100,000 proteins, allowing it to break unprecedented records and therefore propel research in nearly every field of biology. helping scientists tackle disease and more quickly find new medicines, but perhaps also unlock the mysteries of how life itself works. And this isn't the only thing Google's DeepMind has accomplished, also having created AI systems such as AlphaGo, which only after 3 years of development managed to beat the world Go champion Lee Sedol. Only thing is, Go is one of the most profoundly challenging and computationally taxing board games in existence. As some might say it's simpler than chess, but due to the astounding number of different board game configurations, 10 to the power of 170 to be exact, which, to visualize this absurd number, is more than the number of atoms in the known universe. So it is virtually impossible to train a computer using classic methods as it did for chess, which only uses 10 to the power of 40 combinations. As a matter of fact, this project has showcased the ability to invent its own winning moves, not from some book or a prior game, but the AI model has been able to accomplish this solely from the data it contains. So what does this mean for us? Well, this marks our inevitable approach to artificial general intelligence, where machines will be able to think and learn in the same way as humans. Such a machine could understand situational contexts and apply what it has learned to completely different tasks. But this also gives way to greater issues, as it has now become easier than ever to generate content using artificial intelligence, especially involving the use of deepfakes, which is the process of using AI to generate fallacious video or audio pieces of other individuals, providing the possibility to be used in mass social media attacks for reasons such as to suppress voting for a political party during an election or spread misinformation, contributing to the growing polarization in political and religious spheres, collecting and placing people in bubbles that rarely exposes them to contrasting viewpoints, resultingly leading to the reinforcement of their existing biases. As McKinsey & Company states that automation will approximately displace between 400 and 800 million jobs by 2030, requiring as many as 375 million people to switch job categories entirely. However, all of these are mere assumptions. What are the current consequences of AI on the job market?
A behemoth overlooking the London skyline, British Telecoms has long been an immovable part of the British economy. 40% of its workforce shed within the next 7 years at the latest, much of it replaced by AI.
And whilst on the topic of wealth, the introduction of AI has been the largest displacer of jobs worldwide, and will continue to tread on the white-collar workforce, being used to increasingly concentrate wealth and power, leaving many people behind. And to create even more horrifying weapons, neither outcome is inevitable. So the question shouldn't be what will happen, but what will we choose to do?